Arthur Schopenhauer, A Philosophical Life, 1788-1860. You probably desired something today. From the very moment you opened your eyes in the morning before the day had even begun, your mind was likely flooded with things you had to do, things you wanted to have, things you hoped to achieve. And as you satisfied those desires one by one, you may have felt brief moments of contentment, only to find new deficiencies taking their place. We call this life. But long ago, I came to understand that it is not life, it is merely another name for suffering. I am Arthur Schopenhauer. At least within this narrative, I am. I was born in 1788 in Danzig and died in 1860 in Frankfurt. When people called me a pessimist, I did not deny it. But do not misunderstand me. I did not hate life. I simply tried to see it as it truly is. And because my gaze was so unflinching, people found me uncomfortable. The truth is always uncomfortable. Let me ask you something. Are you happy right now? If you pause, even briefly, and examine that question seriously, your answer may not be simple. There are certainly moments when you feel happy. Of course there are. But how long do they last? The joy of obtaining what you desired dulls quickly, and soon another absence takes its place. People glorify this as ambition, as the engine of progress. Yet within this structure, I saw something entirely different. I called it the will. Behind desire lies a blind will, and that will never knows satisfaction. We cannot know the thing in itself. What we know is always something processed within us, something shaped by our senses and our understanding. Look at the world. What we see is light, color, form, and sound. We receive the world through our senses and organize it through reason, believing the result to be reality. But after long reflection, I reached this conclusion. The world we believe we see is merely representation. Like an elaborate stage set, like a meticulously arranged illusion, the world is an image constructed by our cognition. As Kant said, we cannot know the thing in itself. We know only what has been filtered through our sensory and intellectual faculties. What then lies behind this veil of representation? Many philosophers called it God. Some called it reason, others called it spirit. I differed. When I lifted that veil, I encountered blind will, an aimless, groundless force that exists simply to exist. It is the essence that moves the world, and it flows within us as well. When you are hungry and want to eat, when you are tired and want to rest, when you are lonely and long for someone, when you obtain something and immediately want more, these impulses are manifestations of the will. We believe we choose and desire freely, but in truth, the will desires through us. We are its instruments. Does this make you uncomfortable? That is natural. We want to believe we are free, that our choices are our own, that our lives belong to us. But step back and observe. Were the things you wanted today truly your own choices? Or did they arise from the gaze of others? From social standards, from endless images, from systems of comparison and evaluation? Where did your desires begin? Often, we think we desire, but in reality, we are being made to desire. Behind that lies blind will, and it never rests. Here lies the root of human suffering. If desire is not fulfilled, we suffer. That much is obvious. Hunger pains us. Rejection wounds us. Failure frustrates us. But what happens when desire is fulfilled? We experience brief satisfaction, and then it fades. The joy of acquiring what you longed for. The pride of reaching a position you sought, the fulfillment of being with someone you love. How long did these last? You already know the answer. Not long. And when fulfillment fades, something else appears: boredom. Boredom is suffering's other face. If lack is pain, fulfillment is boredom. Human life swings like a pendulum between these two extremes. Without desire, we feel emptiness. With desire, we feel strain. Once satisfied, we grow weary. Thus, we seek stronger stimulation, newer, more intense, more extreme experiences. But the more we heighten stimulation, the duller ordinary life becomes. Perhaps today you found yourself scrolling aimlessly, your finger moving without knowing what it sought. That is the cycle of will creating boredom, and boredom generating new desire. In this cycle, we turn outward. Looking inward is uncomfortable. We search outside for the cause of our suffering. We believe a better job will make us happy. More money will make us free. Recognition will make us worthy. Honor, reputation, the gaze of others. How highly we prize them. People sacrifice time for reputation, health for honor, authenticity for approval. I considered this the most foolish exchange. Reputation is merely an image of you in someone else's mind. It is not yours. You cannot control it, possess it, or preserve it forever. Yet how much energy we expend protecting it. How will they see me? What will they think? How will this choice affect my image? We live in other people's minds while neglecting our own inner life. You have surely felt the exhaustion of such existence. Even love does not escape the grip of the will. We romanticize love as a meeting of souls, a sacred communion. But behind it, I heard the whisper of the species seeking reproduction. When you feel intense attraction, the feeling is real. But the driving force is the will selecting for healthy offspring. It is not romantic, but it is true. And knowing this truth allows us not to be deceived by love's illusion. Its ecstasy is not eternal. Fulfillment will again give way to emptiness. How then should we live? If illusion is stripped away, what remains first is solitude. Many fear solitude because in silence we must face ourselves. When noise disappears, the inner voice grows audible and it is often unwelcome. So we drown it with music, conversation, content, distraction. But solitude is not dangerous. It is the soil of thought. True solitude, the time when you consume nothing, please no one, and exist only with your own thoughts, reveals who you are. At first it feels restless and dull, but endure it. When the noise settles, your genuine voice emerges. What you truly think, truly want, truly fear, these can only be heard in solitude. Yet solitude alone is insufficient. The will remains active. Therefore I speak of art. Art is a temporary liberation from the will. Before great music, desire pauses. Need dissolves. Anxiety fades. For a moment you become a pure subject of perception. You want nothing. You simply are. That is the purest freedom I experienced. Compassion, too, is essential. Compassion arises from recognizing that others suffer under the same will. Their pain is not fundamentally different from yours. Compassion is not sentimentality, it is metaphysical insight. In compassion, the boundary between self and other weakens. For a moment, the ego loosens its grip. But beyond art and compassion lies a deeper path. Renunciation, not suppression, but observation of desire. When desire arises, pause. Observe it. Ask, what is this? Where does it come from? Will its fulfillment truly transform me? In that distance lies freedom. I resonated with Eastern thought for this reason. Buddhism saw liberation in the cessation of desire. I described it as the denial of the will, not life denial, but refusal to be enslaved. The less one desires, the freer one becomes. The one indifferent to recognition is stronger than the one who attains status. I do not tell you to stop desiring. I tell you not to confuse yourself with your desires. Desire is not you. It is the will expressing itself through you. You can witness it without becoming it. That distance is the beginning of freedom. The world will not change. Desire will not end, but we can change how we relate to it. I was not widely loved. My mother and I were estranged. My contemporaries ignored me. My books went unread for years. I was lonely. Yet in that loneliness I discovered profound peace, not from fulfilled desire, but from understanding its structure. I share this with you for one reason: suffering is inevitable, but it need not define you. Desire will arise, but it need not rule you. In the space between you and your impulses lies a small but real freedom. The world does not change. Desire does not cease. But when you gain the eye that observes it, suffering no longer becomes your master. That is enough.